Greetings, Proxyopoly of the whole and its alternative forms. I'm Proxy0, Proxyopolis pro tempore of Clown Corp International Holdings Incorporated. This podcast, which you are about to listen to, episode number 16 in its series, may be best described as a free-form conversation that takes place within the abstract chambers of a Proxyopoly system germane with the term proxy. Proxy, the term proxy includes every proxy, consent or authorization within the meaning of the act. The consent or authorization may take the form of failure to object or to dissent. Now, without further delay, the Jackal Trades. Host 1, Drag.
Welcome back, all you bulls and bears and betas out there, to the buzz of this Proxyopoly system we call the Game of Proxyopoly podcast. With me as ever to deliberate the absurdist corporate buzzwords riddling this Proxyopoly system, starting with this week's cutscene disclaimer, is the irrepressible Proxy0.
Mutatis mutandis, my sweet, tender Proxyopolis, to the mock exchange of corporate buzzwords in this week's episode of the Game of Proxyopoly podcast, Season 3, Episode 2, the Mock Proxy. I dare say, Jackal, no Proxyopolis can be trusted in this Proxyopoly system, it seems.
It pains me again just how right you are, Proxy0. It would appear there is still a dissident proxy on the loose in this Proxyopoly system, and Proxyopoly needs your help to bring this dissident proxy to Proxyopoly justice. If you have any clues as to the whereabouts of this dissident proxy, kindly contact Proxyopoly today on the Linktree. And that is Linktree/NASCAR-COSA. How the hell y'all doing? It's me, NASCAR-COSA, scattered, smothered, and covered all over the overlaying Proxyopoly system underlying this fictitious Proxyopoly system we call the Game of Proxyopoly podcast. And if you have mock proxies originating in Proxyopoly of the whole and in its alternative forms, well, it's your lucky day, Proxyopolist. Because today in Proxyopoly, our loss is your gain. On the Linktree at Linktree/NASCAR-COSA. If you are joining us today in this podcast to exchange your mock proxies for Proxyopoly preferred mock proxies, or to discover the identity of the dissident proxy roaming the halls of this Proxyopoly system, then you've come to the right place. Because Proxyopoly today, our loss is your gain. You heard it here first, folks. That is right, we have the Jackal of Trading Card Games, a right-of-way and preference for a new way to facilitate main motions, which bring about a question again before the Proxyopoly of the whole and its alternative forms. Now, here with today's form and example are the proprietary quantitative algorithm and the proprietary qualitative algorithm.
Mutatis mutandis, Proxyopoly of the whole and its alternative forms. My name is irrelevant and immaterial, but worth noting I am the proprietary quantitative algorithm of this fictitious Proxyopoly system. For immediate release within the context of this fictitious Proxyopoly system, all mock proxies originating in Proxyopoly of the whole and its alternative forms may be eligible to receive Proxyopoly preferred mock proxies in exchange for their mock proxies originating in Proxyopoly of the whole and its alternative forms.
Withhold it right there, proprietary quantitative algorithm. I am the proprietary qualitative algorithm of this Proxyopoly system. Here to interrupt your broadcast with an announcement related to the dissident proxy on the loose in this Proxyopoly system. Watch out, Proxyopolis. While the principal duties of a presiding Proxyopolis pro tempore of Proxyopoly of the whole and its alternative forms underlying the bylaws of the overlaying Proxyopoly system are as follows. The bylaws may contain a provision that no Proxyopolis shall be eligible to exchange mock proxies for Proxyopoly preferred mock proxies if mutatis then mutandis.
Thank you for those friendly reminders, proprietary quantitative algorithm and proprietary qualitative algorithm of the fictitious Proxyopoly system we call the Game of Proxyopoly podcast. However, in reference to Proxyopoly of the whole in its alternative forms, it would appear the Game of Proxyopoly podcast is going full swing into Proxy season as the hunt for the dissident proxy continues within the context of this fictitious Proxyopoly system we call the Game of Proxyopoly podcast.
Don't mock the proxies with merges and jackal of trades. As the Game of Proxyopoly podcast continues full swing into Proxy season, we'd like to remind our listeners that this is a fictitious Proxyopoly system brought to you by Cosmic Crunch Cereal, a cosmically crunchy way to start your day, brought to you by Clown Corp International Holdings Incorporated, a fictitious subsidiary wholly owned by Proxyopoly of the whole and its alternative forms. Now, Jackal, on behalf of the Jackals of the General Partner at Large, would you be able to answer a question related to the Jackal of trading card games? As it seems I'm having some difficulties with interpretation regarding the mock proxy statement I'm reading before me for the general meeting uncensored.
Dang dang! We are the Jackals of the General Partner at Large. Dang dang! And this mock proxy statement is entirely fictional and satirical, intended for entertainment and humorous purposes only. Any resemblance to real events, companies, or persons is purely coincidental. Ergo, get ready for the general meeting uncensored like no other within the context of Proxyopoly of the whole and its alternative forms with Clown Corp International Holdings Incorporated. A very special thank you to the Jackals of the General Partner at Large for that custom disclaimer for the mock proxy statement before Proxy Zero at this point in time in the Game of Proxyopoly podcast.
Oh yes, and a very special thank you to the Shedding Villain Noise of the Pig for the supplemental proxy content on the podcast, and as well as all the Jackals of the General Partner at Large, and the Jackal of Trades, and the Jackal of Trading Card Games for providing the mock prospectus you see before me. That's right, it's right here, the mock prospectus. Oh, look at it, paper! Ha ha ha, blang blang. The Shredmaster Supreme refers to the person in the general meeting uncensored who is actually presiding at the time, whether that person is the presiding Proxyopolist pro tempore or not. Oh, what twists and turns lurk this Proxyopoly system we call the Game of Proxyopoly podcast.
But wait, there's more, folks. While the dissident proxy still loams the chambers of this Proxyopoly system, a reminder to our listeners that they can find out more information about the mock prospectus and the mock proxy statement for the general meeting uncensored upcoming, which will host the Shredmaster Supreme and the Proxyopolis Pro Tempores and all your fictitious Proxyopoly friends here in a friendly game of Proxyopoly we call the Game of Proxyopoly podcast. Now, on behalf of Proxyopoly of the whole and its alternative forms, our loss is your gain today here in Proxyopoly, Proxyopolis. That's right. If you would like to participate in the general meeting uncensored or submit proxy content to the proxy contest of the Game of Proxyopoly podcast, kindly contact Proxyopoly on the Linktree at Linktree/NASCAR How the hell y'all doing? It's me, NASCAR Kosa, here to remind y'all again with any further requests for information can be directed to the Linktree/NASCAR at the Contact Proxyopoly option. If you've selected by default, well, hell, I reckon you just be proceeding with the Proxyopoly board expansion as part of the Game of Proxyopoly podcast, a friendly Game of Proxyopoly brought to you by Clown Corp International Holdings Incorporated.
Hold it right there, NASCAR Kosa. It's me, the proprietary qualitative algorithm, again. Now, we cannot proceed with the general meeting uncensored within the context of the Game of Proxyopoly podcast while there is a dissident proxy on the loose. Has not been brought to Proxyopoly justice. Ergo, if you would like to proceed in the Proxyopoly board expansion, the dissident proxy must be brought to Proxyopoly justice. Resolved.